But well, we have to have an eye on new techniques. And Barry was one of the first ones having a solution session, actually. And well, 6 months later, what are your experiences? And I hope you share a lot of new confidence in the upcoming times for our industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we've all seen what's happening in the market. There's just a handful of live events that are still taking place at the moment. And the ones that are taking place are mostly hybrids, are offering a virtual solution as well, integrated with their live session. So that's kind of what we'll be focusing on today, how we can, how we as stand builders can incorporate that for our customers and actually help them out in these times.
Just a quick one, you need
Yes.
the screen, don't you?
Yes, please.
So
I can draw really fast, maybe.
This would be great. Actually,
but you should be able to share it.
Is it me or is it you?
I think I have the option to do this. 1 second.
Okay. Cursor.
Okay. Let me know if that works for everyone.
So far, I just see you.
Okay.
But I don't see a screen from your side. I see your camera.
But it works. I can see the screen share.
I can see the screen share too.
Okay, then it's me.
Yeah, probably because you're hosting the event. Maybe you have to do something additionally.
Yeah, I will figure this out for sure.
Okay. Should I start, Uta? Do you want to hang on a second? I'm not sure because we usually record the sessions as well. If you're recording me or the slides,
that's true.
It is recording right now.
Mm-hmm.
It is, yeah. It's running. What is the issue? No, this isn't it. This is the gallery. Let's see. That's me. Barry, go ahead.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. First, guys, thank you all so much for joining this session today. Today, like Uta already said, we'll be focusing on the virtualization of the live event industry and how we as stand builders will be able to actually assist our customers in these times of hybrid events and so on. So first thing is, with very few live events taking place at the moment, the event organizers have started offering virtual options. For instance, the Medica and the Frankfurt Book Fair, just to name a few. Now with live events, we've always had this restriction of the location and the time. You know, fair only takes place in a set location. For instance, you have to be in Frankfurt, and then not only have to be in Frankfurt, but you also have to be in Frankfurt for that exact time frame. With virtual events, these restrictions are no longer necessary. However, what we're seeing in the market is that some of the organizers will let you join a virtual event, for which you then have to pay a couple of €1,000, but you then get a generic booth design that they create for you and offer for only that time frame. So they would only still host it for 2 or 3 days. And to us, that's something that just doesn't make sense. So who are we and what is our vision? ExpoCloud, we want to make it easy to plan, execute, and analyze all marketing tasks. You know, we think that only what you can measure can be optimized. You can only manage what you can measure. And today we're focusing on the virtual events and how to integrate that into your marketing portfolio. So what we need to keep in mind that today's customer is no longer the customer that it used to be. The customer journey is much different from a couple of months, couple of years ago. The days of your sales team are going out in the field or cold calling a customer to actively sell something, that doesn't happen anymore. Nowadays, the customer will inform themselves before making a decision, and it's them that they'll make the decision. And like we're all doing that as well. For instance, if we need to buy a new dishwasher, for instance, what you do is you'd go online, you inform yourself, you find out what your needs are, and read the reviews, and then you narrow the selection down to maybe 2 or 3 different ones, and you make your decision based on those, just between those two. So what we're seeing in the market is that the customer journey nowadays, there's a trend towards inbound and content marketing, where the customer actually informs themselves before deciding with which partner to continue their journey. So what we're seeing here is, if you look at the slide, there's a lot more digital touch points nowadays where we can actually help lead and inform the customer than there are in the physical world. And virtual events can be really integrated in every stage of the customer journey. The customer starts out as a stranger, then he starts informing himself, looking what they're looking for. And as they become a lead or a potential customer, we actually can point them and assist them in every part of that journey. Okay, so if you were to host a virtual booth or a virtual event, you actually have the option to assist your potential customer in all these phases. And the great thing is that as they become a potential customer or visit this virtual booth, they're already generating website traffic. So you really have a lot of interaction points that you're able to capture all their details. So what should a digital booth offer? Our chairman, our CEO, Dr. Christian Koppener-Gulz, created the Amico model as the core, and that's the core idea, as the core concept really for our software. And that exists, that's 5 different points that are really important to us and that we really think should be implemented in every software solution. The first one is authority. In my introduction, I already stated that virtual fair organizers are still keeping time restrictions as well as design restrictions. We as ExpoCloud, however, believe that any platform that you're a part of or that you're hosting should be under the authority of the marketing and event department. It's them that should be able to decide what a booth looks like and for how long this booth is hosted. And then, like I already said, measurable. It needs to be measurable. Only what you can measure, you can manage. And so for that, the platform actually measures, analyzes, and reports the performance of all events you're hosting. Integrated, the platform needs to have APIs to integrate any existing marketing software that you already have, and it needs to be connected. It needs to connect to all available communication services, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, chatbots, whatever you might already be using. And these need to be really easily integratable into the solution that we offer. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. Customers these days are already really familiar using Zoom software or Microsoft Teams, whatever. If we were to host a completely new software, they're not going to use that because they want to be able to use what they already know. And the last point is ongoing. Hosting an event can take place whenever you want, before, during, after the live event or the hybrid event, and this needs to be able to happen without any extra charges. So how would a solution like that work? We offer 2 different options for that. We'll get into that in a second. But the first thing is, like all our business environments consist of several different modules. There's your content management and the CMS. There's your customer relation management part, like Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, and so on. Then we all have a virtual environment like our Zoom, LinkedIn, Microsoft Teams, and so on. And then we do event and attendee management, as well as event marketing, automation, and event analytics. And like I said, we have two different options that we can offer. The first one is for customers without any existing infrastructure or without any knowledge on how to manage their existing structure. We can actually offer them a virtual event platform. And there is us that will set up this entire system for you guys. We set up the CRM, the CMS, we do everything, and then we would link Virtual Show to it. And the second option is for customers that do know their environment and can manage it really well. They would only need the implementation of virtual shows, and that's super easy. And from that, they can manage everything that's already in their existing infrastructure. Now, virtual shows, it basically lets you link everything that you already have to your virtual booth. So we basically offer the hosting services, and then everything that you already have, you just easily link to it. And we'll get to that in a second, because that's really interesting, and it's a lot easier than you'd actually think. So what is Virtual Show? Virtual Show lets you manage all your virtual events in one web-based software solution. And for that, you can either use a 3D or a 2D environment. If you were to use a 3D environment, you'd need a CAD design that you then upload and set your info points and so on. In the 2D environment, it's even easier. You just upload any JPEG that you have, and you can link your info points to this. Now, these info points are basically linked to your infrastructure. So for instance, if you have a chatbot, you link your chatbot. If you want customers visiting your virtual booth to have a sales call with you, you set up a Zoom link directly in the booth. So the customer would never, ever have to leave your website. They would not be enticed to go look somewhere else or get distracted. They just stay on your site, and everything runs within that frame. We'll get to that in a second as well. So what can you do? You can add YouTube links, you can integrate forms from your website, you can link to a landing page, chatbots, and many, many more. I think at the moment we've got around 20 different options for info points already. And the great thing is because our software is hosted on the cloud, whenever we offer a new info point, it's directly available for every customer. And it, of course, has a responsive design. And nowadays, over 50% of web page views are done on mobile devices. And of course, our websites are so responsive that they just link to every device you're looking to view it on already. And of course, we're based in Germany, so data security is a huge part of us. We are ISO certified, and all our servers and servers are hosted in Germany, just to comply with all the highest standards. So now the exciting part, how does it work? If you want to create a virtual show 2D, let me just know if you can see my screen changing. So you should now have my welcome screen. Can you guys all see that? You can just nod, I see you.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. And then you go to Virtual Show 2D. And what you do is you just add a virtual show. So we'll do an IFEST, today's the 28th September. You look for a JPEG file. And this can be like the booth you designed for a customer, the booth they used last year or whatever. It can be any existing JPEG image that you have, and it can be an HD, of course, which makes it really pop. If you have a chatbot, you can immediately add it here. Then you create this booth. The URL is generated automatically, and there's your booth. So what can you do with this? You can now add info points, and that's what we were talking about before. This offers you the opportunity to get in touch with your customer. So here's the booth that we're presenting. And if you want to add an info point, we create an info point here. For instance, we want to do a YouTube video. It has a tooltip, and the tooltip is basically your mouse text. So if the customer hovers over this this info point, whatever you type here will be shown to the customer. You can do, I don't know, watch now or something like that. Then we're doing a YouTube video. The icon you can change as well, which is really cool. You can stick with the default design, or you can upload any image yourself. So you can actually have a YouTube link showing there with a YouTube icon. You can do HubSpot, Word, whatever you want, whatever icon you want, you can add to this yourself and make it as exciting for the customer as possible. So we're just going to stick with the default design here. And then it asks you to configure the information or the link, and all that's looking for is it wants to know where it needs to get the information from. So this will be a YouTube link. You can just link it directly from the YouTube website. You save it, and there's your info point. We're just going to add this to, I don't know, here. Let's say this is a video here. And you can do the same for anything else that you have. You can do your Zoom calls. You can link directly to a product page. Let's do that one as well. Let's say product A. And we'll do more product information. And for that, we'll do a web link. So we'll do a website. Let's just do a link here. And we'll add that to here, this product display down here. And then we'll do one more, which I find really cool. And that is, you can actually link this booth to another picture. So with that, you can actually create a really interactive area. So we see this door here. So in this door, we're going to add a new point, and that will be conference room. And we'll call that enter here. And we'll link that to a virtual show 2D, and we'll actually use a different icon for that. Let's see, enter door icon. And we can do that with this URL, save. And you can see this icon change. It's our customized icon. So that's a booth already. So what this does is it already created an external link that we can access straight away. And with this link, you can actually embed this booth with or without an iframe in yours or your customer's website. So they would actually be looking at this. This would be embedded in their website, and they can already, I don't know, watch a YouTube video. Like I said, it's done in this framework, so they never have to leave your website. They will continue to generate website traffic. They can get the product information. This page just loads in here straight away. You could have a contact form, a Zoom call, whatever you want. And this is the enter here. So if I click here, it might go directly to a different booth that you already created. Isn't that cool? So that's the 2D version. I can't actually close this as a pop-up right in front of this, but it doesn't matter. And then we have a 3D version as well, which uses the exact same info points. The only difference is that instead of using a 2D environment, so JPEGs as your background or as your booth, you have the ability to generate this in a 3D role for your customer. And works the exact same way. You upload your booth. You can check your background here. We've got several different rooms available, but you can also create your own backdrop as well. So the room the actual booth is placed in, you can design yourself. We'll just stick with Aachen here. You can do a test. You can do your thumbnail picture here. So we'll just use this one here. Save it. And then the slight difference to the 2D version is that Here you will need to upload your CAD file. I'll just do one that I already prepared for you guys. Okay, I'll save that one. And that goes really fast. And then we can go into this booth and then set the info points straight away. So this takes a little bit longer because, of course, it's a much different and much larger environment than just a simple JPEG. But this is the booth that I uploaded, and then the info points work exactly like we had before. Oh yeah, this is the Manage Your Info Points screen. Actually, didn't mean to open that one. But I wanted to add an info point, just want to show you how easy it is. And we'll do a YouTube video again. Watch now. One video icon. This time we'll actually use the YouTube link just because we can. And get that link again. And save. Now this is a slightly more tricky, of course, because now we're in a 3D environment. So we have to move our icon over several layers to get it in the right direction. But that's what that would look like basically. And you can add all the other info points as well. You can have a contact form that you set up to contact your sales staff, or that goes to a predefined email address, and anything you want we can make available in here. Okay, so that was the 2D and 3D version. Is there anything I can show you guys that you would like to see in more details? Otherwise, I'll just continue the last few slides of my presentation.
Actually, Barry, one
Yes.
question. What you're showing right now, this will work with the website of the company using your tool, isn't it?
This will basically work with any website. So
Okay.
what we do is, I can show you that here.
So you can put 20 of these virtual booths together and create a trade show.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Basically, you can. I wanted to show you that as well, what we can do. What happens is if you publish, or if you save this virtual booth like we just did,
Yeah.
it automatically creates a script with which you can embed this website into your customer's website. Do you get it?
Yeah, well, then you're on the customer's website, which is nice for preparing a show or the work after a show.
Yeah.
Since we don't have shows running right now, can we have 30 provider stand building companies providing their services in one website with where you can browse around?
Yeah. Hang on, I can show you how that could work.
And do you get requests for this?
Yes, yes,
okay.
Yes, yes. Yeah, there's a lot of requests in the market at the moment. I can't, there's a pop-up. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over this one here. Okay, so what we could do is something like this. So let's say this is the outside of the trade show that we would be hosting, and you can set info points. And like I told you before, you can link this to a different picture, and that's what we're doing here. So you could actually go into this and be in your hall, and there you could have, I don't know, your trade fair hall, your conference room, but this could also be different people hosting their products. This could be different companies basically. So we would go into the hall, and that could be, I don't know, like this. You could have booth number 1, could be, I don't know, Stevens, whatever. And that's how we could do this. So you could have this virtual room in which everybody has their stand, but then as you decide which booth to look at, you could actually go into this and have this in a lot more detail. And info points, like I told you, can be at every level. And you know, you could be looking at different booths here. So that's a really easy way of hosting your own virtual event. We just need somebody to have a picture, add all the booths to it. But you know, we all have designers in our companies. That's what we guys do. But I could definitely see something like that happening. Yeah. So we'd have this huge room or different smaller rooms if you want to specialize your exhibitors, and we just put their booths in there. And if somebody wanted to look in more detail, you just go in there and you see all the interest. So like here we linked a 3D environment actually to the 2D environment, because you can also do that. You can intermingle both products. So in a 2D environment, you can actually go to a 3D booth. And in a 3D booth, you can actually have 2D pictures as well, which makes it a lot more versatile and interactive, of course. The last seconds are always the longest. Hang on. Of course, we're streaming a lot of bandwidth at the moment.
Maybe just a small question in the meantime. Hello, Barry.
Yeah. Hi.
I want to see all the links that you say. So the links to different info points in the booth. Are these all the traceable? Do you get stats of that if you put that in your own website or in your event virtual exhibition website? How do you get the stats from there?
Yeah, so there's like I said in the beginning, measurability is super important for us. You can't manage what you can't measure. So what we're offering, because this is a virtual environment, if a customer has their own environment already set up, we don't want to change anything in there. But because these are online, you can use stuff like Google Analytics. If you've got a CRM system or a CRS system, you can track all your customer impact through those files. We don't want people to change anything they already have. We want people to continue using what they have, you know, because that's what they're familiar with, and that's the easiest way to integrate it to existing an existing platform. Yeah, so Google Analytics, if you don't have anything else, it works brilliantly. And otherwise, use your Salesforce, your HubSpot, whatever tools you might be using. Yeah, so this is the example of the 3D booth then in the 2D environment. You can also do that. So I think, Uta, that's a really good idea. We could just do a huge hall or several small halls, and then everybody can host their booth in it, and we can set up a virtual event for everyone. Let me just go back to my presentation. I think there's only 2 more slides. Are there any questions at this point? Otherwise, we'll save it until the end. Perfect. This one we already did, a 2D and a 3D pricing. Of course, virtual show, if you only need module 3, that's the integration of virtual show. We've got 2 packages, a starter and an enterprise. Starter is 95 euros, and for that you get both versions, the 2D and the 3D. That lets you host 3 events simultaneously. And then an enterprise version, which is unlimited, that's at 495. We also offer a free version if anybody wants to start playing around with it. That, of course, has an ExpoCloud watermark in it. Then for people without any existing infrastructure, if we were to build the entire infrastructure for you guys, that has a setup fee of 5,000 euro and then a monthly fee, which will be depending on what services you need to use. But you'll be looking at 1,500 to 2,000 euros a month. But for that, you get a complete infrastructure build. Okay, that was it. So any questions that you have for me, guys, now's the time. Otherwise, you can contact us afterwards at our email address, info@expocloud.com. Any questions?
Yeah, I have several actually, but if anybody else has, I will wait.
I have a question.
Yes, Carlos.
This is working like a landing page inside the organizer website, for example.
You could link it to any website you have. If you host a virtual event, or if you want to promote a virtual event and you have a landing page for that, you can integrate this booth directly into that page, like we did. Can I show you that? It can have whatever endpoint you want. Hang on. Yeah, go ahead.
And another question is about the 3D environment. Is something like the Sketchfab image for manipulate that? What is the system we need to create the 3D ambience to put in working in your system?
Exactly. If you want to host a 3D event, then you need a CAD software, a CAD software that has the OBJ and the MTL files, and we need the textures. And what we then do, or you would be doing, is you export that as a .glb file, which is a lot smaller and will therefore run a lot faster, still maintaining all the integrity of the existing booth. Yeah, so for the 3D environment, you need a CAD design.
Yes, but in this case, there are many options to do the 3D. For example, use some software and some manipulated thing like Sketchfab, or you use a virtual tour system for take 3D photos or videos and moving inside. What is the way for do that, the 3D art ambience?
At the moment, we're only supporting CAD files. So you'd need an actual OBJ and an MTL and texture files. Where you create those, that doesn't matter to us, but you need to have these three file types that are then comprised into the GLB file.
And do you use like a game engine or something like that for do the 3D ambience?
No, there's no gaming engine at all in here. This just runs basically in your browser window. There's no game engine. I know those are on the market as well. What we found when we researched those is that they slow down the mobile devices too much in areas where there's a lower bandwidth, or there's a lot of people looking at the same event on your server. Those engines would tend to slow down the devices too much. That's why we stayed away from that and basically did our own version.
And also it's not a virtual tours inside for the 3D options.
No, we just offer the actual booth that the customer can walk around in, and then they can interact with your sales staff through chats, through calls, through contact forms. We want to really keep them on your website and not get distracted by anything else I find outside this. They should be able to have all the information on just one page, so they stay on your website and you don't lose a potential customer because they get distracted.
In this case, you can't use any kind of animation in the 3D option.
Yes. Yeah, you can both versions let you add any animation that you have to it. You can even upload your own videos or file types. And like I said, we're always adding new widgets because we just think they're so amazing to help guide your customer through their process. That if you have a great idea of anything that we could be adding to this to make the customer experience even better, just get in touch with us and we'll gladly add any other widgets that you can come up with if we think it's a great idea. And those will be immediately available for anybody using the software, then even the free version.
Okay, we're working in something inside for that, and we trying with different platforms and different ways to do that.
Okay.
And we discovered that things are very important. These technical parts are the key.
Yeah. Drop me a line afterwards. I'll gladly set up a test account for you. You can play around with it, see if it suits your needs.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries.
Barry, Barry, how does Cam Stevens here? How does the Zoom interact or integrate into the system?
Great question. Basically, if you remember how I did the YouTube link, the Zoom function will work the exact same. Everybody in your organization that has a Zoom license has their unique Zoom ID. So if you want all calls routed to one team or one specific individual, they would use their Zoom link within the information point. So
and do they leave the browser at that point and go into a Zoom call?
No, the browser would open within the in the actual frame, much like the YouTube video. It would just be showing a Zoom call then.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. We never want to leave them them to leave the website. That's very important to us. Great question. Anything else, guys?
May I ask you if the 3D Studio Max files, if exported properly, are acceptable for the platform?
Which one? The
3D Studio Max. 3ds Max.
3ds Max, yes. We have used those before, and because I think 3ds Max doesn't have the option to export their file as the required GLB. So we have a converter tool that's free of charge and is included in the package. Yeah.
So it works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it works. We have those booths live. Yeah. And because the software that you're looking at is all designed by us, at any stage of the process, if you need any help or assistance, there's a whole staff here available to assist you there.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Sorry, another questions.
Yeah.
The buttons or the triggers, you have it. You can put it like the kind of rollover buttons or something. When you pass in front, automatically activated?
No, the customer needs to actively click it. They need to decide if something opens or not. So hovering over it shows this hover over text that we looked at before, but the customer actually needs to click the icon to open. Before that, nothing will be showing. And that's because we don't want multiple windows opening simultaneously. If somebody just, was to drag over a smaller booth where, like here, where the icons are closer together, we don't want every window to open. They need to be able to see what they're looking for, read the text. If it's interesting to them, then they can click it. One thing I forgot to mention, what would be very interesting for your customers is you can link this to an existing shop system. So if somebody were to be looking at a product here, you could have a buy now or add to your shopping cart or something, and that can link to the actual product page where they can buy the product. So you can even do that. You can use it as a shop system as well.
And in this case, you can put in your 3D ops, I have animations also. We can do it for having, for example, a monitor running video or something like that. And have the capabilities for the audio, zoom in, zoom out the audio.
Audio runs over whatever the customer has set up. You can't change the customer's audio. So if they have their audio for video, for YouTube links set up as their headset or their computer speakers, that's what would be used. You can't modify anything on the customer end.
Thank you.
Very welcome, Carlos.
Larry, a question. I see that all the virtual booth designs that you are showing are really resemble physical booths. Do you have anything a bit more abstract as well that you use? Do you have demand for that?
Yes, actually, we have a project that's about to go live where we not did a virtual booth, but a virtual sales room. So what this customer was looking for is to assist their sales staff in their customer calls. They were looking at basically shelves where they could put products on. And for that, we created a whole virtual environment that allows the customer to go into a sales call with their customers and set up the sales room as the customer wants it. And with one click, they can order the whole package then. So there's demand for other applications of this software as well. It's very versatile, of course, because you can use whatever background image you like and because you can link it to anything that's already existing. basically you can do whatever you want with it. The possibilities are endless, as they say.
Barry, I have a question. The text could be in Spanish on the booth.
Yes, yes. The text that we're using here is completely up to the customer. So because, hang on, can I go back? You can write it in any language that you like. Let's see if I can go back this way.
But the platform comes in English and Germany, I think so.
The platform is available in English, Dutch, and German.
Okay. But the text could be in Spanish.
The text can be in Spanish, yeah. And of course, the platform can be localized as well in any other languages if there's a necessity for that. If we were to do a Spanish info point, let's do one. You might need to help me out though. My Spanish is not that great.
No worries.
So we'll do Espanol. I can't do the little things. So give me a Spanish word that the customer will be seeing. Anything you like. I only know cerveza. I'm going to use that. Tequila. Cerveza and tequila. And that would be, I don't know, let's do a contact form. We'll just keep a default info and we'll link that to our email address. cloud.com, save. So now we did, see, and then this info point is now in Spanish. So if we access the website and we hover over it, they would be seeing whatever we wrote in Spanish here. And then whatever it links to will then of course also be in Spanish if that's a Spanish website or something. Yeah. And all the text can be localized as well, of course. So we can do a whole platform in Spanish for you if you need that. Yeah. Anything else?
For example, at the top, we have a hanger. How we can put the sign there, the company logo there?
Here? I don't know if you can actually see my mouse. For this webinar, we hosted blank booths, just as not to do any branding or offend or upset anyone. So if you have a booth that has a logo in it from your customer, you could be using that. And otherwise, you could redo the design either in your CAD software or Photoshop. And you can add a customer design to it or create your own design from scratch because you want to offer that flexibility. Also, what you can do is you can add your logo to the booth. That was here. So if you're doing booth for your customer, we can add your company logo to it, and you can even integrate the booth name, and you can create a dashboard where the customer has all their booths if they've got several events going. And then if we save this and go to the booth again, it will have your logo and here the booth name then. So you can do that as well and have even more marketing or branding options as well. Does that answer your question, Francisco?
Yes,
Perfect.
Yes, and also, and the hyperlink for websites is the same thing, no?
Exactly, yeah. The hyperlink, let me see if I can go back without actually go out. Yes, perfect. So in here, you can directly copy the URL and the embedded script will be linked in there as well. And then here you can delete it, copy it. You can even copy the entire booth. So you can do a second version of it with some slight alterations to make it easier to offer your client multiple designs before they make their choice.
Okay, thank you.
Very different question,
Yes.
much higher level, or bird's eye view. Have you worked together with any show organizer so far?
With a show organizer, we have not worked together yet. No.
Okay. Because this is one thing which would really interest me, and I think the industry as well, is how successful a virtual show like this can be. How many visitors are people willing to pay for entering a virtual show? All these information you cannot gather at this point due to the fact that probably nobody has collected them so far.
Yeah. We can definitely talk about hosting something together, Uta. We're definitely willing to assist in that.
Okay, because I think it would really be great to see which kind of options and which kind of success this brings if you're doing something for a smaller amount of people, and see if they are really willing to stay for a longer time and click all the info points and things like this. Because when you're on your own website, then the people are already interested in your company. But at the moment, when you have 10 competitors at the same stage, it might be a slight difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Be great. We can set up a little room, do a couple of booths with different options that they can check out, and see what the website traffic is on it and what the customers actually do, because you can track a lot these days.
We need to track, because otherwise you can't compare it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks for the offer.
Very welcome.
So, any further questions from the audience side? What we experience is that a lot of things have changed since we talked the first time about what's possible and what's working and what's not working. It was really interesting for me, and I think for the rest of the audience as well. Otherwise, we would not have had this kind of discussion at the end. And keep in contact. And in case any of the audience wants to get into contact with you, I'm happy to link you, and we will put this meeting on our website again, so that if you want to re-see it or your colleagues want to see it, it will be there probably tomorrow afternoon or on Wednesday. And then I have to say thank you to you. It was great having you.
Thank you. Very welcome.
We will have next Wednesday, we will have a meeting together with the IFS Talent team. And I don't know if I got this.
Mary, could you stop sharing your screen, please? Then we can plan in another PowerPoint.
Yes, hang on.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's true. Here we are.
Yeah.
And now, Alina, are you going to take over?
I think this is you, right?
Well, this is
PowerPoint
me
at the moment.
Yeah, this is me. Okay, so we will have. Let's take this one. This is what we had. This is a big thank you to all our sponsors, which are supporting us right now and still are supporting us. And hope to see them all pretty soon in person, and all their great supplies they're offering. And this is what's happening on Wednesday, where we have Matthias Ortesi-Bauer, who will talk about hybrid events, and if hybrid events are a business for us, and what kind of business we can generate with these hybrid events. And then, as you all know, we had a show running with over 100,000 visitors, which ended 10 days ago. And Michael Degen and Clemens Hauser from Messe Düsseldorf will present what they did, how they could manage this event, and give us some, I think, good vibes on reopening for our industry. And yeah, this will be in 2 weeks from now on Monday, October 12th, same time, 2:30. German summertime. So yeah, well, check on what time this will be for you. And so far, I really want to say thank you. See you again. Hope to hug you again soon. And let's stay positive. And the other thing is that you all stay healthy. This is most important.